No, it's the time for Sam and Josh bitten by a radioactive screen. No, wait, no.
We've been bitten by a radioactive screen.
A radioactive TV screen. Get it? Because Spider-Man.
I do, but how would a screen bite us?
I don't know. We just got warped into it, and then
we just happened to buy a TV that.
Have you ever seen the film Teeth?
Yeah, but that's a vagina.
If
that's
a woman,
feasible.
That's not very feasible, if I'm honest.
Well, evolution works in weird ways. You never know how it comes in the future.
If a woman can have a TV on a vagina, then surely
a TV on her vagina. Are you on drugs?
For fuck's sake.
What is going on?
I don't know. I think I am having a stroke.
This is quite a simple explanation. We just happened to buy a TV that was from Pripyat, and it's still slightly radiated, and instead of giving us superpowers, it just flat out gives us cancer, and we die. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the radioactive...
Wow. Yep, radioactive screen is filmed in front of a dead audience.
Well, no, we're dead. The audience is alive. They're just staring at our dead corpses. Dead, flaky, radiated corpses.
I mean, give it time. They'll get the radiation poisoning as well. And then...
Yeah. Well, yeah, it depends on how radiated our bodies actually are.
Yeah, and then we're going to start...
Our clothes,
This whole room.
But
this
apparently,
whole studio.
If they're pregnant, it'll just go straight to their kid and they'll be fine. They'll just have, strokes for the rest of their life and stuff. That's what happened to... I can never pronounce the name. Lyudmila Ignatenko.
Okay.
That's actually a thing. That's a real thing. Really shouldn't be making fun of that because it's a serious, horrifying and very, very sad thing that actually happened in real life.
Yeah, but we are terrible people. So.
It's true, we are, yeah.
So
Chernobyl! What a laugh riot.
The reason I started with a radioactive TV screen is because, Spider-Man and stuff. And
oh, that's where you were going with
that's
that.
Where I was going with
you
that.
see, I didn't get that. I didn't get that at all.
Well, we've been to see Spider...
So what happened to this Spider-Man?
He
got bitten by a radioactive TV screen. So why did he become Spider-Man?
And he had radioactive semen, so he gave his girlfriend cancer and she died.
And I thought I set the bar low.
I mean, you have just been talking about real-life events. I've just been talking about comic books.
Irrelevant. Yeah, so... We're gonna... Welcome back to the episode. I'm Sam, and there's Josh over there on the other microphone. Say hi.
Hi.
There we go.
And we're on radioactive screen.
The podcast.
It's all falling apart, really. I'll try and normalise it. Basically, we went to see Spider-Man this week.
Yep, Spider-Man Far From Home. And the second of the third Spider-Man 2 we've had in 15 years.
Shit, yeah.
15? It's the first one was...
Yeah, it was about 2004, the second one.
Yep, the third Spider-Man 2 we've had in 15 years. And then when Into the Spider-Verse 2 hopefully comes out, because apparently there was a bit of trouble, or the production was in trouble or something, but I don't know if it's been resolved. Then that'll be the fourth Spider-Man 2 in less than 20 years.
Yeah.
That's weird.
That's mental, yeah. They keep rebooting it so much.
Very strange. But at least we're finally at a place where it's we've had... Well, actually, in fairness, the first trilogy, which was Sam Raimi's, Spider-Man 1 was decent. I think it did break quite a lot of ground at the time.
I mean, when it
nowadays,
came out,
it isn't as fondly remembered simply because of the letdown that was Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 2 was great. I still absolutely love that film. Yep. So really, it's just the amazing Spider-Mans that really let us down.
Yeah, I didn't hate the first Amazing Spider-Man.
It was meh, overwhelmingly meh.
Yeah.
I think it's probably the best way to describe it. And then
the second one was, god awful.
I actually, I had my Facebook memories pop up the other day because it was around this time, however many years ago, that The Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out. And I put a Facebook post out saying, well, Amazing Spider-Man 2 was mint. And I was just sat there thinking, what? Was I high?
Did you...
I actually remember being in that cinema screen, being so hungover that I actually fell asleep at one point. So I have no idea how I ended up coming to the conclusion that I thought it was mint, but I did watch it again when I bought it on Blu-ray, and I was like, this is shit!
And were you hungover when you rewatched it?
No, I was stone cold sober when I rewatched it.
Probably explains it, yeah. I mean, did you not enjoy the power of dubstep?
Oh, yeah, with his...
Yeah, that was strange.
Yeah, that was weird. Because he dubsteps the Spider-Man theme tune, doesn't he?
Nice little homage, but bit unnecessary in that
Poor execution. Yeah. The whole film was just poorly executed.
Yeah.
The best part about that film was Dane DeHaan as Goblin. It was like, should have just focused on him. Like, Jamie Foxx was great up until he became Electrode. That's a Pokemon, Electra.
Electrode.
So childish.
I'd like to have seen where they could have gone with it.
See,
I heard they had some pretty wacky ideas.
Yeah, they had Sinister Six, which never went anywhere, did it?
That was the spin-off film they had planned.
Yeah.
But for Amazing Spider-Man 3, it was going to be about Peter Parker's dad coming back and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
It was going to get really wacky, apparently.
Yeah, because that was the deleted scene from Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man 2, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, them in the graveyard or something or other. I don't know, I'm not really fussed.
It would have been interesting, but because that got cancelled, we got Spider-Man Homecoming, which was a lot better.
Amazing. Yeah, the best Spider-Man film, in my opinion.
I'd agree with that. And is Spider-Man Far From Home good or bad?
You'll have to wait to find out.
Keep listening to find out.
I know where you were going with that, Josh. I
Yeah,
beat you
you
to
do.
it. Yeah.
So we'll start with a bit of recent movie news and stuff like that.
Let's get all up in it.
And while we're on the subject of the MCU,
Yep.
so recently they re-released the Avengers Endgame with some extra new footage.
Oh, did it not happen over here or something, or did we just not go see it?
No, it happened over here, but it didn't make as much as I thought it would
Yeah,
because
fair
it's
enough.
not taken the top spot off Avatar.
No.
It made an extra 8 million altogether because I think they only re-released it over one day
Right,
or
okay.
something.
Ah,
So it's still 27 million off matching Avatar's box office total.
damn it, guys.
It's a shame we couldn't match it, but is what it is.
Still a way better movie, so
Avatar reigns supreme because, Endgame just couldn't
God knows how.
just couldn't snap up that top spot.
Because nobody goes to watch 3D anymore. That's the only reason Avatar was... No. That's the only reason Avatar was... is in that top spot, because you kind of had to go and see it in 3D.
Yeah, 3D
And
viewing prices were
especially back then,
insane. Yeah.
Christ, even 3D viewing prices now aren't as expensive as what it was. Like 15 quid a ticket, wasn't it?
Something like that,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's only worth paying 15 quid for a cinema ticket if you're going to see it in IMAX.
Yeah.
And even then, I'm
And
still
even then,
like, it's a bit of a bigger screen. Great, but I could go to View and watch it for like 4 quid in VIP seats.
Even cheaper if you got Meerkat Movies like we do.
Yeah, shout out to View
And Meerkat Movies, apparently.
and Meerkat Movies.
Yeah.
We need sponsorship, so write to us at radioactivescreen@gmail.com.
Oh, now we're just going to get everybody right into us. Hello, I am Meerkat Movies. Are you? Where's your signatures and, the proof? You'd literally just written a blank email with no graphics or anything. No, I'm Meerkat Movies. Right, cool. Sure you are.
Sent from meredogmovies@gmail.com.
That was terrible. Get out. Sent from Busty Mama 327.
Oh, your mum?
That was better.
Ah, okay. So,
Don't you insult my mother!
she's a beautiful woman. It's okay. I'd take her out for a nice seafood dinner. I'd never call her again!
What's that from?
Anchorman.
Oh, of course.
Dorothy Mantooth is a saint!
Yeah.
Speaking of MCU,
Yep.
apparently Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is not going to be called as Guardians of the Galaxy,
Those bastards.
which is a massive shame.
That is
if
a
I'm
massive
honest,
shame.
because
Maybe it's going to be called Ass Guardians of the Galaxy.
They're just going to do a porn parody.
Maybe. Maybe it's just a whole tribute to America's ass.
That'd be quite nice.
Oh.
Wait.
Stirred something up in Josh there?
Oh. So, James Gunn recently did like a
Q&A.
Q&A, and he got loads of messages saying, please don't let it be called as Guardians of the Galaxy.
Please don't let it be. What is wrong with those people?
I know, right? I think it's a great name
As
for it.
Guardians of the Galaxy, it makes perfect sense.
There's also a comic book called As Guardians of the Galaxy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Huh. Didn't know that.
It's not for and for Guardians of the Galaxy, though, so that could be why they're not wanted to
Possibly,
use
yeah.
it.
No, but like I say, it should have been just the normal Guardians of the Galaxy text with just AS spray painted or something.
It would kind of make sense for him to do an As Guardians of the Galaxy movie, because now Asgard doesn't exist.
Well, I think that's rumoured for a Valkyrie solo film. I think it's just basic rumours, so I don't think there's much in it just yet. But it's basically her, Korg, and Meek going to find a new place for the Asgardians to settle, which sounds decent, to be fair.
I mean, I'd love to see a Valkyrie solo film, because I think she was a great part of Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah,
We should have seen more of her in Endgame.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously they had so much to fit into Endgame.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's impossible to get everyone all the screen time that they deserve, really.
Yeah, so during the Q&A, James Gunn posted a photo of like a load of the messages he got saying, don't call it As Guardians of the Galaxy. And it just had the caption, don't worry. So he's kind of confirmed it in that way.
But not officially, so there's still hope.
Yep.
James, if you're listening to this, because I know you're a massive fan, call it As Guardians of the Galaxy.
Please.
We believe in you. You can do this.
I mean, it's the best thing I could call it because I don't think Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is just going to have the same ring to it. It makes sense for the rest of the franchise, but...
Yeah, that's it. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Volume 3, with AS spray painted at the top and Volume 3 spray painted out or scribbled out or something.
I like how I'm doing the exact same hand motion as you because I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
Great. So, speaking of comic book movies again, Hellboy 2. Apparently we're not getting a sequel.
No, really?
What a shame.
I wonder why.
Yeah, David Harbour came out and said, I don't think it'll be happening because of a bad reception.
Shit.
And, it was a terrible fucking film and everyone hated each other on set.
Yeah, the production was an absolute nightmare.
So I can see why they wouldn't. Yeah, it's just...
I think that might possibly be it for Hellboy film adaptations. They don't seem to work.
It's probably a good thing that it's probably going to be the last of it, because I don't think we need more from that universe.
I mean, we've only had those 3 films from that universe, so...
Yeah, and that was more than enough.
Yeah.
I think start adapting other comic books.
I think it probably can be done well, but I think
they need to give it the time.
There's not really that much call for it, is there?
No. Because I don't think it's even that big a comic book. It's quite a niche one.
Yeah.
Cult following kind of thing.
Yeah.
Robert Kirkman ended The Walking Dead, the comic book series, as well.
Did he?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Spoiler alert if you haven't read the end of the Walking Dead comic book series. Now, what happened?
It's a really fucking weird ending from what I've read.
Is it not? Because do you know the story of how he actually got it published?
No.
So basically,
I think I've heard it.
Basically, obviously, he pitched the whole idea and everything to the whatever publishers or whatever, and they said that's great, but we need to know how it's going to end. And he just made up this ending on the spot about how it's aliens that sent the disease down to Earth to weaken Earth's defenses. And they were like, "That's brilliant, we love it." And he was like, "Really? That fucking shit! I'm not doing that." Please tell me he did it.
He did not do that. There's a time jump, and it's like Carl, who's older.
That makes sense. That was kind of always going to be the way it was going to go. It was.
I mean, they can't really do that in the TV show anymore.
Nope.
Seeing as they've killed him off.
Yeah. Spoiler alert for the TV show as well. If you haven't got that far, but to be honest, who cares nowadays? Walking Dead's been crap since season 4.
Yeah, complete garbage now.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a time jump. Like civilization's kind of thriving now. Maggie's president. Yeah.
Thriving? How? Have they killed all the zombies, or?
So the zombies are not much of a threat anymore, and then Carl gets in deep with the authorities because he kills one of them, and Michonne's the judge at his hearing, and he gets let off.
That's bizarre.
It sounded like a bizarre ending from what I'd read.
Is Rick dead in the comics?
Yeah, he died quite recently, I think, as well.
Right, okay.
I mean, this is going by what I've read online. I've not actually read the comic myself.
Nah. I started reading it, and then the TV show going so bad, it just put me in a lull, and I was like, I can't be arsed with this crap.
I think I've read about half of the comic book, because I think it got to like 197 issues or something.
Yeah, there was a lot of it. There was a hell of a lot of it, but...
Like, Robert Kirkman was saying he just wanted to do it until like 300, but this felt like the natural end for it.
Natural end, overstayed welcome, on both accounts, comic and TV show.
Well, I don't think the comic book really overstayed its welcome, to be honest, because I think it's still got quite a big following. It's the TV show that dipped quite a lot.
Yeah, in all fairness, I'm not a massive comics guy, am I? So...
No, that's true.
Yeah.
But it's just...
There you go. Well, that's it. That's that. Dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sadly, because I enjoyed what I read of the comic. I
enjoyed what I read of it. I just couldn't be asked continuing it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I suppose when there's that many issues as well, it's a lot of time you've got to spend.
To get through. Yeah, I just had the first compendium, I think. I was just like, balls to this.
Yeah.
It's a lot to get through. Can't be asked.
It really is, yeah. So, Henry Cavill has been cast as Sherlock Holmes in a new movie.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a bit out there.
with Millie Bobby Brown
There's another
playing
one.
a lead character.
Do we really need any more Sherlock Holmes stuff? We
No.
really don't. I think the pinnacle of it was probably the first couple of seasons of Sherlock, the BBC one with Benedict Cumberbatch and Benici Bald Cumber Waffle.
Benedict's come on my back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Martin Freeman.
Yeah,
I think that's definitely the pinnacle of Sherlock Holmes.
absolutely.
But we're
yeah.
we're getting Henry Cavill as Sherlock Holmes later on, and we're also getting Sherlock Holmes 3, Guy Ritchie.
Yep, supposedly.
Christ.
Because this one is based on a series of young adult novels, I think.
Right, okay.
The main character's actually not Sherlock Holmes, it's his supposed sister.
Right.
Enid Holmes, I think? Enola Holmes.
And that's going to be Millie Bobby Brown?
Yeah.
Right, okay. I was going to say, a young adult, I don't think Henry Cavill qualifies as a young adult anymore.
No, not quite.
He's like 30-odd. A little bit older than 15-year-old Millie Bobby Brown.
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Big age difference
Right.
between brother and
Well,
sister.
okay, in that sense then, there could be possibly something in that.
Hmm.
But yeah, I just don't think Sherlock Holmes is something that...
We need more of
No.
at this point.
Did you watch the BBC Sherlock, by the way?
Yeah, first 2 seasons are good, like you say.
Do you know what
and then
ruins it
just
for me?
dipped off.
When they bring Moriarty into it, his performance literally was so bad. It just killed it off for me completely. It just takes me out of it completely. And that's I can't remember what his actual name is, because I've seen him in some other stuff, and I actually think he's quite a good actor. But in that, it was almost just like he was so over the top for the sake of being over the top, and I was just like, oh god, it's just like,
It was almost Joker-esque.
no, that's insulting to the Joker. It was just pure whiplash-inducing cringe whenever he was on screen.
It was Jared Leto as the Joker-esque.
It wasn't that
He wasn't
bad.
trying to be a...
It wasn't that bad. It was somewhere in between.
It was-
I don't even know. I don't know what you're saying. Do you even know what you're saying? It's been a long day. It's been a long week.
It has been
It's
long
been a
week.
long
Yeah.
lifetime, guys. It's been a very long one. And sadly, we're not even halfway through.
I mean, that's a lie. It's coming to an end because of over-radiation.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Cancer and the
Yeah.
3.6 Bronchen. Chernobyl joke right there. Hello, Chernobyl graphite posting. Little shout out for you.
Okay, this is weird. It's getting weird now.
It's just a Facebook group that makes Chernobyl memes. From the show, not the actual disaster.
I was going to say, that is pretty dark, but send me the link to it.
Yeah. Have you watched it yet, by the way?
No, I've not.
Just disappoint me so much, Josh.
I'm used to it by now.
Yeah,
I'm
true.
honest,
Yeah,
yeah.
your parents tell you every day. Right, so what's next?
So, Bill and Ted 3 has finally started filming.
Excellent. I got a little confession for you here, Josh,
What?
which you kind of already know because we talked about it before. But I thought for the dramatic purposes of the podcast,
I mean, we did,
it would make sense. And now I've gone for the comedic purposes of that. You already know it, but the audience didn't know that you knew it. But now they do know that you know it because I've told you. Is that I've
It's all right,
never actually seen any of the Bill and Ted films yet.
What?
I know.
You've never seen Bill and Ted?
I haven't. They've been on my watch list for years. Years. And I just haven't got around to watching them.
I mean, I disappoint you. You disappoint me. I mean, you're a massive Keanu Reeves fan, aren't you?
I am.
Why have you not seen it? What's your excuse?
Forgot.
Forgot. God.
I've got a very long list, alright?
Yeah,
Very, very long list.
Yeah. Bill and Ted 3 is called Bill and Ted Face for Music, and it's out next year. I feel like we just need to start recommending each other films to watch.
Well, I've been doing that for weeks now, and I'm pretty sure you haven't been jotting them down, so you're probably forgetting them all.
I've watched one of them.
You've watched one of them,
Yes.
yep.
Yep.
Which you said you didn't even like.
No.
Which means you're wrong and your opinion is invalid on anything ever. Kevin Smith says shame on you.
Okay, so are we going to say which film I actually watched? So
Yeah,
the
okay,
audience
sorry.
know what
Sorry,
what
yeah,
the
of
hell
course,
we're
that
on
would have
about.
made sense, yeah.
So Sam lent me Red State to
Kevin
watch.
Smith says shame on you!
And yeah, it's a film directed by Kevin Smith, in which Deal or No Deal's Noel Edmonds kidnaps a bunch of teenage
Obviously,
kids.
yeah.
And
Just
then
a little disclaimer, it's not actually Noel Edmonds. I nearly went Evans, I don't know where that came from.
might as well have been.
I mean, it looks ever so slightly like him if you're sitting far away and you need glasses.
Oh, don't ruin a joke.
But
yeah.
it doesn't look that much like him.
So yeah, he kidnaps some teenagers and then rants about gays.
It's not just gays, he just doesn't like sexual acts in general, which is quite common for over Christian America.
Gay. And then he starts a firefight with some ATF agents. What I will say, though, is his performance and John Goodman's are fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I can't fault their performances, to be honest.
Well, John Goodman's usually brilliant in pretty much everything.
Yeah, I mean, as you said in a previous episode, he is our national treasure now.
What, John Goodman?
Yeah, you said it in a previous
Did
episode, yep.
Oh, God, I can't remember.
I think
Towards the end of yesterday, so...
I think when we were talking about Cloverfield...
Oh, yes, I remember now.
Yep.
But no, this is what I was saying to you, wasn't I? I was talking about the original ending that they had for Red State. I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was a brilliant film, and I thought it was really well done. And then he talked about the original ending that he had for it, and you kind of wish that he had gone down that route, because knowing Kevin Smith and knowing all of his other films that he's done, and just how batshit crazy some of his films can go.
Oh, is this like a weird and wacky ending to it, where like he comes into it or something? Please tell me it involves like a Kevin Smith cameo.
No, well, it might have done. I have no idea. From what I remember of when I read about it, without actually having properly recapped, basically, you know when the trumpets start sounding?
Yeah.
It's real. And an angel actually comes down and just starts to fucking kill everything.
Okay.
I think apart from John Goodman.
What?
Yeah, and it's just like, yeah, so just go check out the alternate ending, the alternate animated ending on YouTube, but it's, yeah, you just wish that had actually have happened.
I do, but I quite like it where John Goodman's explaining that they're a bunch of eco-nuts that just...
They got pissed off and they tried to, yeah.
Yeah, and then it turns out they're actually growing weed, so they all got arrested anyway.
Yeah.
That was a great ending to it.
It was a great ending, yeah, but it's one of them things, isn't it?
I think, yeah, Angel ending would have been quite interesting to see, and I wish they would have filmed that and at least included it as a deleted scene.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith
I think
as
it's
an angel.
basically because they didn't have the budget.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin Smith is an angel coming down and wreaking havoc on everyone.
Yeah. Kevin Smith, isn't it? Or even better if it would have actually been
Ben Affleck
and Matt Damon.
yeah.
As Loki and... Oh, God. Is it... I was going to say Galadriel, but that's Lord of the Rings. Gadriel? No, that's Supernatural. I'm going to find that out. Hang on. Dogma. Excellent film.
Yep. To be honest, I don't think I've seen a bad Kevin Smith film.
Bartleby and Loki.
It's been so long since I've actually seen Dogma.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, no, come to think about it, Kevin Smith, he doesn't do bad films, does he?
I mean, he does wacky out there films, like, I suppose, Tusk.
Very, very meta.
Tusk and, the one he did with his daughter, I can't remember the name of it, Yoga Hosers, which was about, like, Nazi Frankfurters, and his daughter works in a store, kind of like in Clerks.
Yeah.
And they have to protect it from the Frankfurters, or something like that.
Great description, well done.
I've not actually seen the film, but that
How can you talk about it?
because I've seen the trailer, but that must make you want to watch it, right?
I mean, it does, yeah. I mean, you could just slap Kevin Smith on it and I'll want to watch it, so...
Moving on.
Oh, also, seeing as we're on the recommendations part that we didn't really talk about in any other way, we just recommended stuff to each other. I watched Bash Brothers.
Oh, yeah?
Obviously, it's Lonely Island, and I love Lonely Island, and anything Andy Samberg seems to do turns to gold.
Yeah.
The problem with Bash Brothers for me is that I had no idea of the backstory going into it, so I was just sort of like... It's kind of lost on me, I think, a little bit, because I don't know anything about baseball. But I was just like, I'm enjoying it, but I don't know why I'm enjoying it.
I mean, you don't really have to know anything about baseball, because I don't know anything about it as well.
Well, you kind of do, because it's a piss take of a true story.
Yeah,
in some senses, obviously, a lot of it's very, very exaggerated. And
I don't think you really have to know much about the sport itself.
I think you do, otherwise, because I just sort of sat there and watched it, and I was like, at the end, I was like, I mean, that was great, but what the fuck?
I mean, yeah, that was my
literally
reaction.
No context. I think you have to have context to be able to fully appreciate it.
I mean, Sterling K. Brown as Sia in Oakland Knights was one of the highlights of that.
Yeah, just trying to spot all the cameos is great.
Yeah. Did you watch...
It's the only one I watched.
Oh,
yeah.
Did you not? Ah, okay.
I didn't get a chance to watch all the other ones, because have we still got news? Yes, that news that I told you about. Okay, we'll back pocket that then.
Okay, so Russell Crowe turned down the role of Aragorn after a call with Peter Jackson.
Oh, what? In the new Amazon series? Or
no,
originally?
Originally.
Right, okay.
So, yeah, apparently Peter Jackson gave him a call but sounded like really disinterested, like he was kind of forced to offer him the role. Because it was coming off like Gladiator and stuff like that, so he was pretty big at the time. It must have been around the same time.
Around the same time, I think.
Because I think Gladiator was 99.
Gladiator was 2000, and Lord of the Rings was... Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring was 2001. Gladiator was 2000.
2000, yeah.
So, yeah.
Coming off Gladiator, he was quite a big name at that point. The studio probably wanted him for the role, but Peter Jackson obviously didn't. Apparently they offered him 10% of the film's profits to star in it, yet he still turned it down.
Bet he regrets that.
Because it's made something like $2 billion, at least, out of 3 films.
Mm-hmm.
That could have been $200 million in his pocket.
Bet he regrets that now.
Yeah, probably. I mean...
Obviously, because the role of Aragorn was torn because they started filming with someone else.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they actually flew someone out to New Zealand. I can't remember who it was now. He was quite... Not a huge actor at the time, but fairly big. They flew him out. They started doing a few scenes. It was sort of like what they did with Back to the Future and Marty McFly. Originally, they wanted Viggo, but it was a scheduling. It was kind of the same thing. Either that, or they then decided once he was out, the guy was out there. They were like, this isn't working. And so they called Viggo up and was like, please come and do it. And I think it was Viggo's daughter that convinced him to go out there and do it. Yeah. And I'm so glad she did. Because, I mean, he...
Absolutely.
As good as all of the cast are in that, Aragorn was probably my favourite character.
Yeah.
By a long shot.
And it was his performance.
Definitely down to Viggo's performance, yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine they gave Viggo the same offer that they did with Russell Crowe.
No, probably not. Not at the time, because he was
not a very well-known actor, was he?
Not that well-known, but not unknown. He was
yeah.
in one of the remakes or sequels of Psycho. Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Was it Psycho 2 or Psycho 3 or something?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't do very well.
No, probably not.
I can't imagine it would have done, but yeah. There you go, Lord of the Rings facts for you there.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the Amazon series as well.
Yeah, same here.
Can't wait to see what they do with it.
Absolutely, yeah. They announced one of the directors.
Oh, did they?
The other day, yeah. That was on the day that we went to see Spider-Man, actually.
Oh, yeah, you were saying it's the director of...
Fallen Kingdom.
Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom for what it was. A popcorn flick. Turn your brain off and go. He's
more known for his more horror films, isn't he? And a couple of episodes of Penny Dreadful, which was excellent.
Which I kind of understand why Jurassic World went with kind of a horror theme in the last...
And the opening scene, which was excellent. The opening scene to Fallen Kingdom is one of my favourite scenes across the whole... It's where they're...
Oh, where
one
on
of
the boat.
Subs is underwater,
Yeah.
one of them's... And it's just that bit where the thunderstorm and the rain, and all of a sudden the T-Rex is just there and he raises his head, and I was like, oh my god, that was excellent. And I thought, actually watching it in the cinema, I was just like, oh, if this is what we're in for, this is going to be excellent. And then they kind of reverted back to
it being a bit silly.
Yeah, not as goodness. But it wasn't an awful film. It was an awful film.
I kind of enjoyed it when it went back to the horror aspect kind of thing. Just lurking down the corridors and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was fine. It was just really, when you think about it, it was the auction which kind of ruined it.
Yeah.
The fact that they were weaponizing the dinosaur, I know it was touched upon in Jurassic World, but the fact that they fully created and weaponized the dinosaur didn't sit right with me.
And, as we mentioned in the review, go to the YouTube channel and watch that if you haven't already, 120 million Scott!
Yeah, his terrible... Was he trying to be German?
Was it German or Russian?
I have no idea.
I could not tell.
It was a bad accent from Toby Jones. But yeah, no, it wasn't an awful film. It was just that ruined it, and the little clone kid. The fact that they brought clones into it annoyed me.
Yeah,
and the fact that
it didn't affect the story in any way.
Apart from right at the end where
all.
she's like, I need to release them because they're the same as me. It's like, eye roll.
Cheesy dialogue.
Yeah. You know how I love my cheesy dialogue.
Yep,
You're
much.
Not G-Men anymore. You're X-Men.
So we're moving on to the last bit of news story that I have.
The last bit of news.
Yep, and it's Star Wars related this time.
Ooh! Yay! We like Star Wars news.
Yep. We're finally going to get to hear about Rey's parentage in Rise of the Skywalker.
That's not exactly news. Wait, but... that fills me with dread. That fills me with a lot of dread.
What, considering the name?
And I will tell you for why.
Go on.
Because one of my big gripes with the latest installments in the Star Wars trilogies, the episodic saga, the sequels as they are known, is that it seems like they wanted to kind of go, oh, let's connect everybody to everybody. It's a big old wide universe. Not everybody has to be a relative of somebody else.
It's a big universe, but everyone's connected.
By the Force, to be fair. And I just know they're going to make her a Skywalker, because it's called The Rise of Skywalker. And if they do, it's such lazy writing. But then again, Star Wars The Last Jedi was literally Star Wars The Lazy Writing.
They are not making her a Skywalker.
See, obviously after The Force Awakens, I do remember coming out and being all like, ooh, who are her parents? What's the big thing about her parents? They could be this, they could be this. Over time, I've come to think there are a couple of names, which I'll tell you in a minute, which I wouldn't mind her being associated with, family-wise. But I liked the idea of what they did in The Last Jedi. You're nothing. You're no one. Your parents were just junkies. I liked that. I thought that was actually one of the things The Last Jedi did quite well, by just building up this mystery, but in a really quite clever way, just going,
and then tearing it down.
Yeah, not, who's Snoke? Nah, not that. Yeah. But, your parents, you're nobody. And it's like, it kind of made sense with, even though I didn't like little Jedi kid at the end, it was like, yeah, so basically Jedi kid can identify with her and all of that stuff. It doesn't matter, you don't have to have a big name to be somebody, that kind of thing.
I mean, I can kind of appreciate the whole you're nobody kind of thing.
The girl is no one. Sorry, go on.
If she's a creation of the Force, kind of like Anakin supposedly is.
I don't even want a creation of the Force. Creation of the Force, what's the point? Because then they won't go anywhere with that story.
I would rather have that than, it's someone you already know from this franchise.
Yeah, to be fair.
It's Qui-Gon's granddaughter. No, I don't want that.
Creation of Force would probably be better. So the only two that I like is if she was a Kenobi. And to be fair, I will freely admit that makes no sense whatsoever. I just love Obi-Wan Kenobi that much that I think I'm quite blind to it. And I'll freely admit that. I have no problems admitting that. The only other one that I really, really actually like the idea of, and I think is an excellent idea if they did it, is if she was a Palpatine. And I shall tell you for why, Josh. Because basically it would kind of make sense. Oh, she's actually a descendant of the most evil Sith Lord that's probably ever existed. Yeah! We're kind of scared of her. Let's just dump her somewhere and hope she just goes through her life and dies and never discovers anything.
And this is why she's kind of always tempted by the dark side.
Yeah, and it would make sense, like, the fact that she literally has no hesitation. Like Luke says to her, you just dove straight into the not very good metaphor for the dark side with the pit. I fell in the pit. Have you? And just little segue there. Have you seen the compilation video of Star Wars and the pit?
No.
Oh, I'll put it on for you afterwards. It's fucking brilliant. But that's the only one. The only way I could see it working.
Yeah,
is if she was a Palpatine.
In a way, I could kind of see the descendant of Obi-Wan working, as in, like...
Oh, I could see it working. I have so many theories, but also I can understand why it's a silly theory.
Yeah, it's a silly theory, but
she's definitely an Obi-Wan. She's definitely an Obi-Wan Kenobi. She's definitely a Kenobi.
Oh.
She's not a Kenobi, she's a Palpatine. She better be a Palpatine.
I hope she's a Palpatine more than a Kenobi. But in The Force Awakens, where she touches the lightsaber and has the whole dream sequence kind of thing, and you hear Obi-Wan's voice and stuff, it could be that it's more than a connection just because of the Force and what the lightsaber's been through and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It could be that it's actually, her granddad? Yeah, it could kind of make sense as Obi-Wan being related to Rey, but I don't want it. I would rather have her being a descendant of Palpatine or just a creation of the Force.
But obviously we'll find out come December, won't we?
Yeah.
And it would be a massive misstep if it just came out and went, you were a Skywalker all along. That'd be crap.
I don't think J.J. Abrams would fuck us over that much.
Nah, because nobody wants it.
Not after The Last Jedi.
Literally nobody wants it.
No.
Everybody has said it would be fucking shite if she is a Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
But I just have this steep, horrible sinking feeling that that's what's going to be. That's going to be the case. But then again, literally everything in life at the moment is crap. So that's probably why I'm in that mindset.
But it's not happening because Ben Solo is related to the Skywalker lineage, and that's going to be The Rise of Skywalker when he turns good.
He better not. It's been the best part about the film so far.
Oh, but that's what was rumoured for the for the ending.
It's always rumoured, though,
But,
isn't it? It's because the original Star Wars was all about the redemption arc of Vader, because it's Vader's story, not Luke's. But nah, that'd be crap. The best part about...
But then we get Matt Smith as a Sith acolyte.
Oh, he's not in it.
Well,
He's not in it. It was confirmed he's not in it.
he was confirming that he wasn't in it.
There you go.
But then...
No. There's too much at the moment, Josh. Can't handle it, okay? Newcastle haven't been taken over, right? Apparently we're buying Fabio Barini. I'm not having Matt Smith be in a Star Wars film, okay? Just drop it! Just drop it!
Okay, so that's all I had for the movie news. Have you got anything else?
No, that's everything, I think.
Okay.
So,
Moving on to Spider-Man.
yeah.
Is it time for my one-word review?
It's time for your one-word review.
Good.
Good! That's it, everybody. That's the movie world complete.
That's our non-spoiler review for Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah.
So, shall we lay down the spoiler warning now?
Literally the spoiler-free. Let's do a little bit spoiler-free.
Oh, okay. It was a good film. I think I liked Homecoming as a whole more.
I think I liked Homecoming more, but only ever so slightly.
There was some...
I do actually think it's probably the second best Spider-Man film I've seen. Maybe joint with Spider-Verse.
So, which one would you say is the best? Homecoming?
Yeah, Homecoming by a mile.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it as a film, but I think Homecoming's better because of a performance from Michael Keaton as Vulture. I think as good as Jake Gyllenhaal is as an actor, his character was a bit... I didn't like some story elements I went with.
You see, yeah, there are certain story elements which you get it from the trailer anyway, is that he is from a different Earth, a different reality. He's come through the void or the rip or whatever it is after that was created by the Thanos' snap, and he's fighting these elemental creatures that destroyed his planet. Basically, you get all of that information on the trailer. Yeah, but from that, so then there are a couple of things that happen with the character, which in some ways kind of feel like a bit of a misstep, let's say. I think that's the least spoilery way that I can put it. But we'll obviously, if you have seen it, we'll go into that more when we actually get into spoilers in a couple of minutes or a couple of seconds. Overall, it's another solid...
It's another great Spider-Man film.
Yeah.
It's another great MCU film.
Yeah.
Like,
they can't seem to go back to baseball, which I know a hell of a lot about. They just keep hitting those wickets right off of the court.
Is that not more cricket?
That was the joke.
Okay.
God, ruined. Yeah, no, they keep seeing to knock it out of the park, don't they? Really, and this is another.
Yeah. As much as I say it's a really good Marvel film, I'd still say it's middle tier,
middle to top for me. But yeah, I can see what you mean. Yeah, it's. Yeah, there's better ones that they've done, but it's... Yeah. I'd probably say, just off the top of my head, without really thinking about it, I'd probably say it enters the top 10.
I'd say
that's without thinking about it. I may have forgotten of, some of the films where I was just like, actually, no, I'll bump that above it. Yeah, it's a good film. You'll love it if you love Spider-Man.
There's great comedic moments in it.
Yeah, you'll love it if you love the MCU. You'll love it if you just love action. You'll love it if you just love films in general, really. Yeah. So,
and it sets up the MCU quite nicely.
For whatever phase they're going to...
Could go from there.
Well...
Although we don't know where they're going.
We think it does.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're definitely going to get into that. So what we'll go into now is the spoiler alert.
Yep.
Yeah. So from now on, guys, if you haven't seen Spider-Man Far From Home yet, I nearly said Homecoming, but it's not. Spider-Man Far From Home, which has just recently come out in cinemas. Stop listening, go to the cinema, watch the film, come back, and you know what? Start the podcast from the beginning, go all the way through it again, because then we get another view, and that just, kind of helps boost our numbers. Like, it's cheating the system. It's cheating the system, but we think we've earned it, right?
Yeah. I think we deserve it.
Yeah, we got that. And I'm sorry for killing your eardrums there. So, that's your spoiler alert for Spider-Man Far From Home, because now we're going to get into spoilers. So, Mysterio ain't Mysterio.
A lot of shit.
See,
honestly.
Actually, so to give it a little bit of context, so I spoke earlier, if you're still listening, about... if you're still listening, you're definitely listening, because we're amazing. So all that thing about Mysterio coming through the void and the fighting the elementals, blah, 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 blah. And then basically he isn't. He's just a normal guy who, and
he's an
basically
ex-Stark employee.
His next Stark employee who's great at creating visual effects through, and it's basically like VR.
Yeah,
in
because
a
he
way.
created the therapy.
Bath, which was in Civil War, which you see in the bit where Tony Stark is young Tony Stark speaking to his mum and dad, going back into all his memories and whatnot. He basically uses that tech. So I'll just sort of say, at first, when they did that, it did kind of feel like a bit of a... but at the same time, I was always expecting that to be the case. I was never actually convinced that this guy is actually from an alternate universe. I was like... It would be great if that was the case, but I just don't think they're going to follow through with that. And ever since actually seeing the film and going out and going away and actually reading more a little bit into the character of Mysterio that was from the comics, I actually think it makes so much more sense. And I think it's actually a really, really good adaptation of the comic book character, but brought into a more modernized world.
Okay.
You know, actually basing it around tech and visual effects. Because do you know much about Mysterio from the comics? Because I didn't up until today.
Not really, to be
No,
honest.
so basically he was a special effects guy for Hollywood / failed actor when he basically gets fed up and estranged with him constantly failing, trying to get into a big Hollywood production on camera. He turns to a life of crime because his visual effects are really good. And he convinces Spider-Man to rob a bank.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. He robs a bank and frames it on Spider-Man. So you can see where they've kind of drawn the ending from now. And
Really
I actually
crazy.
think, like, once I read that, I was like, that's actually brilliant. Brilliant that the way they've done it. And I appreciate it a lot more.
Yeah, I suppose I can appreciate it more now.
Yeah,
because
because
it makes sense with the comic book origins of a character. Yeah, I can kind of see where they're coming from now.
Yeah.
But it felt too much like Iron Man 3 with the reveal with the Mandarin, and that's what I didn't like.
But that's because I remember you saying that and me sort of going, yeah, I know what you mean. But again, I think I was going into it anyway going, well, it's not going to be true. He's not actually going to be from that thingy. So it kind of softened the blow for me. And with the Mandarin in Iron Man 3, it was basically they went, you know, this character that you absolutely love. Yeah, fuck that. This is a whole new thing and this is totally against what you've known from the comics. Whereas in this case, they've actually gone, you know, this character you know from the comics, we're building it up as if it's something completely different. And then they've gone, no, it was like that all along, just kind of better.
I suppose.
So I kind of actually now completely disagree with you on the whole. It feels like Iron Man thing, but obviously only after reading up on it and thinking about it and taking that time, which you kind of have to do with movies anyway.
In a way, with the whole grand reveal and everything, I did like the way they linked it back to like the other MCU films.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it was kind of
one of the
weird.
guys
That's
is a scientist that Jeff Bridges shouted at in Iron Man.
Yeah. I mean, kind of thinking about that now, it was like, okay, yeah, I can see. And Tony Stark did have a reputation for pissing off a lot of people, so I can understand why they've sort of brought that up. But it kind of felt like it was like, oh, just this one guy, these people just happen to be susceptible to being evil. Yeah. But it doesn't break the film. It still works. It still makes sense. After all, it is a bloody comic book film about a teenager who has superpowers, so it's not exactly not feasible. It's just...
I still don't see Mysterio's character motivations for becoming evil. I know he wants to be the greatest superhero of all time, but the thing is,
that's it. Yeah,
when he comes across an actual threat, he would just get taken out instantly.
Yeah.
Because everything's faked.
Yeah.
So what is the point?
Yeah, basically his power comes from the fact that he's really good with drones and controlling drones. So in a way I can totally understand that, it's just more, I think I kind of fell for Jake Gyllenhaal's performance a little bit more, because when you see him on the table after the big reveal, I was watching something earlier on, and they were talking about how it's almost like a throwback to his performance in Nightcrawler, and I was just like, you know, he's really unhinged, and that's why Tony Stark let him go, and basically, he's just totally unhinged, and I think that was actually really well done, and they kind of set it up to, in the first after credit scene, they kind of set it up as if to go, oh, did he actually, is he still alive? I think he's actually still alive.
No, I didn't really see it as that. Yeah, I think he's dead, but I just loved that first after credit scene.
Yeah, it was a great after credit scene.
We finally got the return of J. Jonah Jameson.
When I say big reveal, I don't think anyone was ever expecting it to happen.
No, exactly.
No. And that's what I really liked about it, because I think we came out straight away after the film finished, just going, so that film was a good, solid, dependable, entertaining Spider-Man film with just two massive massive curveballs at the end, which flip so much. Flips the world that you know and love that they've created just completely on its head.
So does this mean there's 2 Spider-Men? If J.K. Simmons is back as J. Jonah Jameson?
Well, originally, Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, and...
Maybe there's a little Easter egg that we didn't notice where it's,
maybe that's the real rip.
It's evil Peter Parker just walking and dancing down the street.
Yeah, no,
I'm going to have to go back and watch it.
That was the... originally... Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, and Andrew Garfield were originally meant to cameo in Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Which would have been fantastic.
I mean, hopefully they do it in Into the Spider-Verse 2, but I feel like at this point everyone would be expecting it.
Yeah, they'd have to throw something else up there. But yeah, so basically the after credit scene is Peter swinging through New York with Mary Jane. She doesn't like it. Up on the screen it comes up.
DailyBugle.net.
Daily Bugle, J. Jonah Jameson saying Spider-Man's a menace. He tried to execute
the innocent people.
Yeah, and he killed Mysterio. And it reveals to the world the identity of Spider-Man as Peter Parker. And it literally just ends, which was a throwback to Homecoming, with him going, What the fuck? And it just cuts, which is obviously what May did in May.
Homecoming, yeah. Happy Hogan is a lucky bastard.
Yep, they go and smash.
I just love that whole running joke between Happy and May.
Yeah, so obviously we talked a lot about Mysterio. There's a lot more that goes on within the film. We'll talk about that before we go to the final after credits scene, which was, again, just a massive curveball.
Yep. Should we talk about the main character that it's titled after?
Yeah, let's talk about Spider-Man. Tom Holland. Fucking brilliant, isn't he?
Fucking brilliant. I wasn't a massive fan of the stealth suit, if I'm honest.
It was kind of pointless.
I suppose it makes sense that it's a low-tech version of the Spider-Man suit.
Yeah, but it was kind of pointless.
Yeah.
In many ways. I think it must have just been, he kind of needs something in the middle so we can sell a few toys or something. I think that's essentially what it was. They put him in a stealth suit. That mission doesn't require any stealth.
But he's not Spider-Man, he's Night Monkey.
Yeah.
I like how he wanted to hide his Spider-Man identity by wearing a black suit but using all his Spider-Man powers.
And having the same Spider-Man eyes.
Exactly, yeah.
But
like, people are going to look at him and go, yeah, that's Spider-Man.
Yeah, like I say, the stealth suit didn't really make much sense, but to be honest, it's not a huge part of the film. It was...
No,
it was just in one particular scene. But yeah, so Tom Holland's great. Like, pretty much the whole cast are great. That's one thing that I will definitely say, is that every single last person in that film, they just seem to have this amazing chemistry between each other. Like, obviously, the main bulk of the kids in the high school, just like, especially, obviously, Tom Holland and Zendaya. It's Zendaya. I remember.
Okay.
I watched a video the other day, and it was an interview. It was the Wired autocomplete interview, and it was Zendaya.
Okay. Yeah, I think she was great as MJ.
Yeah, because it's not your stereotypical MJ. Like, obviously, you saw that from the first film anyway, but they really start to elaborate on it. Yeah. And they work really, really well together. You can actually feel the emotional connection that they have, which is obviously always a real plus when they're trying to play, like, will they, won't they?
Boyfriend
and girlfriend kind of thing. Obviously, Ned returning with the girl from
his
Black Mirror.
Yeah.
They were just trying to make it the stereotypical cringy high school or secondary school over in here in dear old England couple, like teenage couple, obsessed with each other after barely knowing each other. And it was cringy, but it worked so well.
We're going to be bachelors in Europe. Wait, you have a girlfriend? Yep.
but yes, all of that works really well, and obviously then you get Nick Fury and Maria Hill.
Yep, finally back at it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or do we?
I think Maria Hill's been very wasted.
In quite Not in this film, or in quite a few of them. I'd say quite a few of them, yeah. Maria, because Colby Smulders is... Colby Smulders. She smulders, but Smulders, she's badass.
Considering in the comics she becomes the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. at some point, her character hasn't really had much
Which I think is genuinely what is going to be the future, because Samuel L. Jackson, I don't think... I mean, he obviously really enjoys doing it.
Yeah, and I think he wants to keep playing the role, but I don't think they can.
I don't think they'll keep sort of just having him pop up randomly in the background of certain ones where they sort of see fit. So I think eventually they will have to sort of move on with that. A Nick Fury and Maria Hill film as S.H.I.E.L.D. would be great, I think.
Yeah, I think it'd be quite good.
I mean, does S.H.I.E.L.D. technically exist anymore?
No, S.H.I.E.L.D. have disbanded.
Yeah.
Completely.
So what are they now?
They're just, I suppose, rogue agents.
But
in a way, but they still have all the SHIELD tech.
It's weird. It's kind of very ambiguous as to what they actually are, but he still sees himself as... Are they now the Avengers Initiative? Is that officially what...
No, possibly.
Someone let us know, because apparently we haven't paid as closer attention to the films as what we thought we had.
Well, I can see maybe, like, in the future MCU, they kind of reintroduce SHIELD, they bring it back.
Yeah, I could
kind of
definitely see
thing.
that happening, yeah. Or it, like, essentially is, yeah, that it's SHIELD, but we're called the Avengers Initiative kind of thing, which I guess kind of already happened, but...
Yeah, so we got great character moments from, especially Tom Holland and Zendaya.
Yep.
Zendaya?
Zendaya.
Wait.
I've forgotten already.
Oh, bollocks. Great.
So bad.
So, we got great character moments from the two main leads.
good way of hopping around it. Well, now
Yeah.
technically Jake Gyllenhaal and Tom Holland are the leads.
Well, yeah, but the romantic subplot was kind of
Yeah.
good in the way that it was all the will they won't they kind of
Yeah, it
thing.
was done really
And it
well,
was-
and all the awkwardness of when you first start liking a girl or start seeing a girl. I mean, to be honest, I'm still really awkward around girls, so,
Me
you know.
too. Women scare me.
Well, you have a girlfriend, Josh. I don't have a girlfriend. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Du, 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 du. I've come to talk with you again.
So,
So,
it was a good film.
Yep, it was a good film, and then obviously we get the final after credit scene. Oh, sorry, actually, just before we go on to that, I wanted to make a quick mention to the. So there's this moment in the film where basically Peter Parker thinks he's speaking to Maria Hill, and he thinks he's speaking to Nick Fury, and it turns out it's actually Mysterio, and he's doing all of his high-tech illusions on him.
Those scenes were great.
That was visually stunning. I genuinely think that is probably one of, if not the best visually produced scenes that we've seen in the MCU. Absolutely spectacular.
I would probably agree with that because I just love the whole mind-bending kind of reality kind of thing.
Yeah.
And all the Spider-Men kind of just going at him, and then he falls into...
He's
in snow.
He's
and
in
stuff
snow.
Like that.
He's in a school hallway. He falls in front of the grave of Tony Stark, who then
Comes out of
pops
a
up.
grave.
Sad. I thought at that point they were gonna do a Robert Downey Jr. cameo, and I was kind of actually hoping they wouldn't, because if they're gonna have it, I don't want it just to be in the next film. I want it to be later on down the line, and it be. There he is. And then obviously it's the Mysterios. It was the bit that got me, which was perfect, and it was almost ripped straight out of a horror film. Is Iron Man crawling his way out of the grave, still in the suit, with the suit cracked, and you can see the skull within the headpiece, and a spider crawling along, and it goes into the spider's eyes, and then it becomes a bunch of Mysterios. And I was just like, that was incredible. Absolutely incredible. I may go see it again tomorrow. But yeah, no, so sorry, yeah, that absolutely excellent. Now on to the very, very final after credit scene.
So we finally get the Skrulls back.
We do.
Yep.
And it turns out, and it just turns the film on its head completely.
Yeah.
What you've just watched, you go, what the fuck? And basically, it's Nick Fury and Maria Hill in the car at the end being like, oh yeah, well, that was a successful mission, blah, blah, blah. But it's not Maria Hill and it's not Nick Fury. It's Talos and his
wife.
Skrull wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they called Nick Fury,
Yeah,
who's
they're-
supposedly sitting on a beach.
Who's actually out in the middle of space somewhere, but we
Yeah.
don't know where. They're basic, and Talos is basic, or Talos. God, I'm so bad at that. It's basically like, oh yeah, we did the thing with Peter Parker. He's fine. It got a little bit out of hand. Can you come back? And Nick Fury just hangs up on him. So basically, every scene with Nick Fury and Maria Hill. I keep going to say Nick Hill because I work with someone called Nick Hill. Hi, Nick.
Did you listen to the podcast?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I think he's got 2 or 3 kids, so he's probably busy. Yeah, so everything we've seen of Nick Fury and Maria Hill in that film
Was not
them.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if this is setting up like Secret Wars kind of thing.
quite possibly, yeah.
Maybe the Skrull-
It's setting something up.
Yeah, maybe the Skrulls will turn bad again.
I actually
Something like
think
that.
Fury's on his way to see Captain Marvel. I think potentially that'll be Captain Marvel too. It'll be them in space doing a mission together.
I'll be honest.
And that really gets my penis going.
At first, when they were on the phone in the car, I thought it was going to be to Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I had that feeling as well. Yeah.
I didn't know it was actually going to be the real Nick Fury kind of thing.
And just as a final note then, I actually watched a Mr. Sunday Movies video on it, and he's talking about Maria Hill, and he's like, possibly, did Maria Hill even exist in the first place? Has it always been a Skrull? Has it always been Talos' wife? Because let's face it, they first met in the 90s.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it will. I think that'd actually be a bit of an insult to Colby Smulders. And
has it ever been the real Nick Fury then?
Well, at least in Captain Marvel, yes.
Since Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah. I think it'd be a bit of an insult to both of them if they just turned around and went, it wasn't actually their characters all along. So I don't think they will actually do that. But it's an interesting food for thought kind of thing, isn't it? So yeah, we would thoroughly recommend Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good stuff.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So there's the end of a review. I suppose this is the end of a podcast episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Bit of a
I was
weird...
going to say I could talk maybe a little bit about Stranger Things, because that's literally just aired. At the time of us recording, it was yesterday. But I'm only 4 episodes into it because, unfortunately, things like work get in the way. Temptation to ring in sick this morning was very, very strong, but I didn't. I went into work, and I regret that decision.
Disappointing.
I'm only joking if my boss is listening to this. So
I think maybe we should hold off on the Stranger Things.
Yeah, I'll hold off on the Stranger Things until I've watched it all, and then I'll try and get either a YouTube video out, or we'll talk about it on the next episode of this podcast. But what I will say is that so far I've been thoroughly enjoying it, and it seems to be that they're just going almost from strength to strength.
And I've still not seen any of it.
And there you go. Disappointment. Sam 1, Josh 2. And that is the final score. Good night, everybody.
Bye, guys. Is that really how we're ending
I think
this?
that's the best way to possibly end it. Cut!
Yep.
Cut it
See
now!
you guys.